He said, listen, AI is going to eliminate some jobs. AI is going to create new jobs, but AI will change every job. Welcome back to another episode of the Tradepreneur Show. I'm your host, Patrick Summers, and I have a very special guest today with some great information to take your company to the next level. With me today is Bara Ghaffari. Bara grew up on welfare, getting food from food banks, and assumed she'd rent for the rest of her life. Fast forward to today, she's a real estate investor and part of SalesAsk, an AI platform that analyzes sales conversations and helps teams close more deals through better insights and automation. She also built a personal brand where she shares insights on real estate investing, business psychology, and emerging technology with, check this out, an audience of more than 100,000 people online. Make sure you're one of the new followers. Through that platform, she's raised over $1 million for real estate deals and regularly explores investment opportunities around the world, which we're going to have future episodes where we're going to share her knowledge and insight on how you can take advantage of some of the same things she does. But for now, let's dive into AI. Bara, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you here. And you're here because you're actually in from Ottawa, Canada, right? In beautiful Palm Springs, Southern California. And you are here to onboard the team at General for the SalesAsk AI platform, correct?
That's right.
Okay. So we just did the whole onboarding for our team for the SalesAsk AI platform. And first of all, how do you think it went with the team?
I think it went amazing.
You think they were receptive to it?
They really were. I mean, they were ready to serve their customers very well. I mean, I've seen your reviews, 4.8, over 2,000 reviews. Humble brag from my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
And they were so receptive. They want to be able to capture all the details to just provide that excellent customer service and also be able to reflect on how the meeting went so they can go ahead and keep doing those things that went well and fix whatever issues they had within that meeting to close more deals.
Yeah. And so let me give you some background on this tool. So it's basically a sales coaching tool is what it is at the end of the day. And we had used other platforms, other tools like this in the past. We've experimented, we used them, we started to implement them. And for the one that we were using, we just didn't really get the support. I'm not going to say who it is. There's a lot of good ones out there, and that could be partially on us as well. But what I was in the show at Epic a few weeks ago, and I came across their booth in the vendor showcase, and I met Zach and I met Bara, right? And I was like, their engagement with me, their knowledge of the program, the trades, and their excitement for it is what really got me interested, because for me, one of the biggest things you need is support. And you guys conveyed to me, and you were adamant about it. Like, I am going to be on your managers. I'm going to be following up to make sure this happens. So
I said, you'll get sick of me.
You actually did. Yeah, she did say that. So anyways, I signed up right then and there. And it's an investment. However, I just felt confident we were going to get the support. So fast forward, here you are on site. You had a remote onboarding with the leadership team, kind of going over it and getting it integrated with Service Titan and things like that. And then a week later, you showed up here and did the in-person onboarding. I think at the beginning of the onboarding, I was reading the room, and some of the texts were, okay, what is this? This is Big Brother, And by the end, after you walked them through the platform, there was some real excitement about it. And they started using it yesterday, and the data coming through is absolutely amazing. So what do you think in the SalesAsk separates you from your competition?
Oh, that's a great question. Definitely a couple of things. Like you mentioned, the support is, I have not seen anyone else that supports teams like we do. We believe in unreasonable hospitality.
I like that. Unreasonable hospitality. Wow. Well, you guys deliver.
Thank you. Yes. So, I mean, AI is emerging and it's just developing and evolving so quickly. And a lot of home service-based companies are starting to implement AI into their day-to-day. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind, right? So, not only do we offer excellent support, but we're AI focused. And as AI evolves, we evolve. Our team, we have a team of go-getters that are always on it. We're always developing the product. We ensure that we have the team's buy-ins. So the onboarding for C-suite versus sales reps or technicians is completely different. It's tailored to their goals. And we make sure that by the end of the day, they see this tool as something that's going to help them serve their customers better and close more deals.
Yeah, and by the end of the onboarding yesterday, I could tell they all got it. And I have never seen us put something in place, especially something so new to them, right? Like I said, we've tested and we've implemented on a smaller scale, like one department. We just didn't have the support that we thought we needed to properly roll it out across the entire company. Yesterday, we did roll it out across the entire company, and the engagement and the use of the product by the technicians, I was really impressed with. I thought I'm going to see a few of these recordings trickle in, and then Monday I'm just going to have to be like, "Hey guys," but I was watching them come through, and I'm looking at one of them, and I gleaned some insights about what we're doing in the home that was wrong. And I immediately sent and it wasn't a major thing, but it was like, "Hey, no, this isn't how we're supposed to do this." And I sent an email out to the team so we could immediately change it and educate everybody on how we should be doing something. And so we are able to put that into place on day one, which was amazing. And then you met with our CSRs to show how they can use it. And I think what I really like about the product is it automatically does a post-call summary that you email to the client of everything discussed. And then you can actually do a takeoff to order material and things like that. I was blown away. And then to your point, you said something about you're always innovating, you're always developing at Ask AI. Well, what I found was in the onboarding, I asked you a question and I was like, "Hey, can it do this? Is that what I understood you say?" And you said, "No, but we are actually in development of that right now." And I was like, "Wow, okay, this is cool." And it was in that moment that I realized I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like I could like literally call you up and say, "Hey, I want the software to do this. I think this would be great." And it would be you're the type of company that would be like, "Okay, let's look into that."
Oh my goodness, of course. Yeah, we love our customers' feedback and we built this for you, right? We built this for the home service-based businesses in North America or worldwide, wherever you want. But yeah, we built some amazing features like role playing.
Yes, the role play. Talk about the role playing with Coach Dean, which by the way, it's Coach Dean. They're from Canada. Okay. We love Canada. We love Canadians, our neighbors to the north, but I think it should be Coach Jack Hughes. I'm just saying, Olympic hockey. I mean, that would be cool. But
Do you know where Coach Dean comes from?
no, but I've been meaning to ask you that.
It's sports related.
Okay.
Coach Dean comes from Dean Smith,
Okay.
the basketball coach. Yeah, he coached players like Michael Jordan. So we took his coaching style and turned it into AI. Straight to the point, no fluff.
So the role play. So I did it with one of the calls the technician was at, and this AI extracts all this information from the call, and then it gives you like, "Hey, what you did good, what you struggled with, what you could do better." One of the insights on this one particular call was like, "Hey, you never actually asked for the sale." And when the customer asked, "When could I get the sink installed?" The tech went into logistics, is what it said. You started talking about, well, it depends what sink you order. It depends if we have it in stock. It depends this. It depends that. Instead of just saying, "Okay, great, let's select the sink, and then I'll get you a date that we can get it installed." Right. So I was like, wow, that's really good insight. But it's not just that it's good insight for me. The technician's going to review that and be able to figure that out on the next call and change their behavior. But the Coach Dean, I role played that call that the tech ran. And first of all, the interaction is absolutely amazing. but it takes the insights from that customer interaction and role plays as if it's that customer
Yeah.
with the same concerns, anxieties, biases, anything that was picked up. It role plays from that perspective, and you're the tech, and now you can role play and overcome those objections. So I thought that was real. I was really impressed with that.
Right. And I loved seeing all the recordings coming in an hour later after onboarding everyone. There was one technician who came up to me and said, go listen to my meeting. You got 100% process score because you can customize the coach by your sales process. And he closed the deal. He sold, it was over $20,000 ticket.
Yeah, one of the things I think if you're using a product like this or you're considering it, whether it's this product or one of the many others out there, what I would say is technicians are typically reluctant to be analyzed. In fact, one of the things you picked up on was a lot of technicians don't want anybody else to be able to hear their calls, the other techs. And our guy said, no, let us be able to hear each other's calls. They wanted to be able to hear what somebody else is doing because somebody else may be doing something better, right? And they can learn from each other. So I was really proud when they did that.
As you should be. It's not as common as you think. A lot of people want to keep it to themselves, but hey, you're in sales. That's what it is. You are in sales. Call it whatever you want. You're there to sell, right? So at the end of the day, if this is what you want to do, then you should want to develop yourself. You should want to get better, right? So the fact that they're open to listening and coaching themselves, learning from each other, the entire team is going to win.
And what I tell our team, and if you're listening to this and you're struggling with getting your team to buy into this type of technology and coaching, or maybe you're a technician and you're reluctant to it. Listen, the best athletes in the world are filmed and they're analyze their own game film, as do coaches, as do the other players. So this is your game day film. This is the performance that you can go in and it's like you're having coaches, Coach Dean, look at what you did and give you the feedback to improve. And the reality is, I know for our team, if you're somebody on our team and you're like, no, I don't want to improve, I don't need to improve, or I don't want that, you're not going to be on our team long because that's not our culture and that's not our philosophy.
It's also funny because I actually want to get the number for that, but it's around just knowing that you are recording yourself. There's a statistic on this where you actually improve your sales game by knowing that you are being recorded. So it's a small number, maybe up to 5% improvement, but that could make a big dent.
Well, and so to your point, it's a whole principle, like they have the Peter principle and those type of things. There is an actual principle that that came out of research on how people performed when they're being watched versus not watched, essentially at this most simplest basic term. But let me just say this. I truly believe the individual we had on our team that went out and closed that sale, I believe the recording helped. I believe because he knew and because he kind of knew he was being watched, even if it was by himself. But he also said, okay, wait, he wanted to hit all the targets. He wanted to score 100%, right? So it brought him a kind of a new goal and energy. So I thought that was great. And if you're a company out there and you're like, well, what about recording audio and stuff? Yeah, there's some two-party states. We're in California. It's a two-party state. You have to get consent. And so there's ways you do that. You have the conversation. And I remember when we were using another platform, I talked to some of the techs. I said, do you ever get anybody that says no? And they're like, yeah, I'm sure I've had somebody that said no, but I can't think of any specific instance. They're like, once you explain to them what it is and why you're doing it, especially now where I can send you a recap of everything we discussed, it's yes. And if somebody says no, you just don't record.
You just pull out a pen and paper.
Yeah.
We'll keep it archaic. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're recording one way or another, right? But so you will be amazed at the people that consent because why wouldn't they? Especially if it's going to help them with a post summary that they're going to receive in an email, like that's fantastic. I mean, people call into our business, you call into any business, you're being recorded.
Exactly.
So people are used to it. I go to this one gas station and it's like video and audio recording. I'm like, okay, why? I don't care, but I just make sure I don't pick my nose or something, right? But I'm like, okay, who cares? That's the world we live in. It's the world we live in.
And it not only helps the sales reps and technicians, but also on the manager's side, from the owner's perspective. You can't physically go on ride-alongs with every single technician and rep. You can't, right? So this allows you to step back and actually see the bigger picture. What is actually going on with these calls? You get to see it by one meeting in particular, or you can use Coach Dean to analyze what the patterns and trends are with your customers and with your team. What are the main objections we're seeing? How much rapport is actually being built? Are they actually asking for the sale? These are all insights you could see at a high level as well from the manager's perspective.
And what that does is for a business owner or a manager, so many times we bring in an entire team to train them on an area that only 20% of the technicians are performing poorly in. And we bring in all the other people, we train them as a group. And the people that are performing at a high level in that particular area are like, they feel like they're being punished because they're doing really well. And then the ones that are performing poorly, you don't really speak to them. So if I say, hey, listen, you guys are doing this fantastic. Keep it up, right? Keep it up. Let us know what else we can do to help support you to get even better, but keep this up. You guys over here, we need to come in and we need to talk about how you're introducing yourself to the customer and the questions you're asking the customer to really help solve their problems. Now you're not training everybody. You're only training the ones that the data is telling you need a little bit of help on that. And so you can be a lot more efficient and a lot more targeted. I always say it's, carpet bombing has its purposes in combat, but so do strategic missile strikes. Now, I know that could be a sensible topic, but just think about it. There's a big difference between dropping a bunch of bombs versus sending one specific bomb to a specific target. That's the analogy I use for business where, look, instead of carpet bombing your techs with this training for everybody, be very strategic and only target the tech and the training that's needed for that. You can become a lot more efficient. Your techs, it helps morale because techs that don't need the extra time in that area aren't being dragged into something they're already excelling at. And now you could say, okay, maybe you need work in this area. We'll put you to work in this area. Or you know what? Sleep in. You don't have to come in for the training today, right? Or get to your call earlier, whatever it is. All right. Something you mentioned something earlier about, AI's here and use it. There's an advantage. And so I'm a firm believer right now, there is a strategic advantage. There's a competitive advantage by being an early adapter to AI and some of the AI products out there. But that will eventually go away because there'll come a time where everybody's using it, has to use it just to stay relevant. But right now, you've got the people over here, they're great with it. And then over here, they're like, no, this will never work for us. But the ones that can early adapt will have for a limited time a competitive advantage. You, in your role, you go to a lot of trade shows, you talk to a lot of contractors. Do you come across a lot that are apprehensive about AI and don't think that it's going to be a long-term thing? It's going to be like a flash in the pan?
I think they're more apprehensive to it because it's just totally new to them. It's as if like traditional marketing versus social media marketing, where they don't actually see the value in posting organic content on social media that could literally go viral with $0 ad spend versus, oh, I'm going to pay for a billboard or I'm going to pay for a newspaper ad, which there's nothing wrong with. Could absolutely still work, but people are apprehensive because they don't believe in the new waves that are coming through year by year. So it's the same thing with AI, right? You could remain traditional, but you could also implement AI, which will not replace your text. It will not replace you, but it will allow you to become a lot more efficient. Velocity, right? So you're going now at 5x, 10x speed into the right direction. And that's what's going to make you stand out and beat your competition.
Yeah, very well said. And people are apprehensive about it. And I think I look back to, like, I don't know if you remember the days. I don't know how old you are, but when the internet first came out, and then websites, and not many people had websites. And yeah, MySpace, remember MySpace? I mean, I barely remember, because like it was like it came and it went. All of a sudden, Facebook showed up, and like, but back in the day, hardly any companies had websites, and then more and more would build websites. And now you sometimes somebody launches a business, they launch a website before the business is even ready to go, right? Secure the domain, build a website to start getting it out there, and then we'll open our doors for business. So I believe we're in a similar space with AI right now.
Absolutely. You need to get in immediately, because the way it's going now is it's going towards agentic AI. So right now, AI can give you insights, but soon enough, and this is something we're working on, is AI will essentially be your assistant, and it will not only give you your insights, but it will do work for you at the fraction of the cost. It will know when to follow up with your customer. It'll create scopes of work for you. It'll reach out to your customer for you. That's exactly where it's heading.
Well, and that was one of the things we were talking about is, now imagine this: you leave the home, and automatically the email sent, then a text message follow-up campaign, an AI automated voice phone call, right? I mean, it's where we're heading. It's where we're heading. And I do think too, a lot of people are fearful of AI because, and I think there's a lot of things to be fearful of, truthfully, right? But there's also a lot of things to be excited about. And so one of the concerns is, it's going to replace my job. And I heard a guy on Fox Business maybe 2 weeks ago. And I can't recall who he was. I can't recall the story. But he said, listen, AI is going to eliminate some jobs. AI is going to create new jobs, but AI will change every job. And I was like, okay, and that's like anything. Any new technology eliminates jobs and creates new jobs. It creates whole new sectors, right? So, and that's just where we are with AI. And AI, again, I've said in previous episodes, the one thing AI will never have is a soul. And it will never have, you're probably laughing like, oh, maybe it is. We're working on a soul.
You never know. No, I don't think it'll ever replace emotional and social intelligence. Never. Yeah. Everyone, unless you're psychotic, will want human interaction. Yeah. If anything, it'll elevate the want and desire of human interaction. AI is just there to help you elevate.
Do you hear that, Scott Stoltz? Did you hear what she just said? That's right up your alley. It's right up your alley. And yeah, he's a friend of mine, and I've had him on. Him and I talk offline a lot about AI, and we're aligned in a lot of areas, and we're divergent in a lot of areas, or some areas. But he's a people person, right? And so his whole thing is like, certain things will never be replaced. And my approach is, well, I don't know if that's true, because I saw this thing that was on the news about this. You can get like an AI relationship.
That's fucked up.
Yes, really it is. It is. But guess what? There's 8 billion people on this planet. There's going to be a whole segment that is going to find enough people to make a business out of it, right? But what's messed up about it is the part where you said, unless you're psychotic, right? Why wouldn't you want human interaction? We never want to get away from that.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, there's business opportunity everywhere. Before AI relationships, there were, I don't even know if I should say it out loud. I'm not. I'll telepathically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are my kids? I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Okay.
So anyways, the AI and having somebody from a company that does the AI that we're implementing in our business. Again, personally, I think there's a lot of good programs out there, a lot of products out there. We happen to choose this one, and the reason being is, number one, support, right? And that's a perfect example of the human element. Being able to engage with human beings, have a conversation with them, see their excitement about their product and the excitement that they had if we were to use their product, and then the commitment that I got of, hey, you're going to get tired of me. I'm going to be a pain in the ass because I'm going to be so engaged with your team. That's the human element, and that's the cool part, and that's where we as business owners, we as human beings, as family members, whatever, have to bring the AI and the human element together. And when we can do that, man, yeah,
Fireworks.
yeah, for sure. So listen, with that said, we got another episode of the Tradepreneur Show in the books. I will tell you, it's SalesAsk AI. How can people reach out to you? Do you have an email or a website for SalesAsk?
Yeah, absolutely. It's salesask.com. Pretty simple. You can also reach out to me directly, Bara, BARA, at salesask.com, and we'll make sure you're taken care of.
Perfect. With that said, listen, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate anybody who's watching the show, liking the show. Share it with somebody you think would enjoy it. And until next time, win the day and be great.